Hello and welcome to Peak Performance Selling, the only sales clinic in the Middle East. I'm Dr. Anand Menon, your host and sales doctor on this channel. Now, as you go through this channel, if you like some of the videos that you see here, I would encourage you to hit the like button and share it with your friends on your social media platforms. You see, I'm a firm believer that those who know have the moral responsibility to share with those who don't. So let's become ambassadors of knowledge and share what we learn with our friends. And I want to thank you in advance for doing that. On this video, I want to address a question that some of my viewers have sent to me. You see, I hear this a lot in training rooms, and I also hear this in comments that come to me. And the question that people ask me, and it's a good question, it's a genuine question. You're probably not going to like my answer to the question, but let's talk about the question first. So here's what I hear a lot of people ask me. They said, how do I become the best at selling? How do I become a really good salesperson? What a great question. Well, here's my answer, and you're not going to like it very much. You see, if you want to become really good at selling, now when I say good, I mean really, really good at selling, then stop selling. If you want to become really good at selling, stop selling. Help people buy. The best salespeople on the planet are thinking in terms of buying, not selling. You see, nobody likes to be sold. You don't go home and say, sweetheart, I was sold this car. You say, I bought this car. So people love to buy. Hear what I just said. People love to buy, but they hate being sold. So the best salespeople on the planet are always thinking in terms of how can I help my customer buy, make better buying decisions. And there's a very important reason for doing this. You see, as long as I'm thinking about selling, the spotlight is on whom? On the prospect or on you? It's on me, the salesperson. The focus is on me. How can I sell? Not how can I help him or her buy? And people can sense that because the focus is not on the client, but the focus is on you, the salesperson. And this creates a very serious problem in the world of selling. It brings up even more strongly an emotional discontentment in the client. It's called buyer's remorse. You've probably heard of it as buyer's remorse or buyer's regret. In case you haven't, let me tell you quickly what it is. Buyer's remorse or buyer's regret is a sense of apprehension or a sense of doubt or regret that comes up after they have made the buying decision. This comes up not before, but after they made the buying decision. Now, the reason buyer's remorse comes up is, oh, by the way, buyer's remorse happens to everybody on the planet. It happens to you and it happens to me. It probably will not kick in if the value of the purchase is not high. You buy a burger or a sandwich and it doesn't work out, you may not go there again, but it's not really buyer's remorse. You're not going to spend your time talking to everybody all over town and telling them that that restaurant is not so good. But whenever you are going to make a buying decision that involves a significant amount of investment, buyer's remorse is going to kick in. Now, why does buyer's remorse happen in the first place? Let's look at that first, and let's look at what are the consequences of not dealing with this. You see, buyer's remorse can happen for many reasons. The first reason is we just don't trust salespeople. I mean, would you trust a sales guy? You're in sales. Do you trust salespeople? So if we don't trust our own breed, why would anybody else trust us? So that's one reason why. Because every time a salesperson walks up to us, the first thing we want to do is run away from them, right? When you walk into a showroom and a salesperson walks up to you, what's the first thing they always tell you? How can I help you? And what's our reply? Well, no, thank you. I'm just looking. But did you walk in there just to look, just to waste your time? Probably at a few times, but most of the time you walked in because you wanted to buy or at least had an interest in something that was there. Yet why is it when a salesperson comes up to you, you tell them, no, thank you, I'm just looking? It's because I don't trust salespeople. And the rapport or the relationship hasn't been built up yet enough. And that's the reason why buyer's remorse will come in many cases as a buying decision because we don't trust salespeople. The second reason buyer's remorse happens is we have made some buying mistakes in the past. We have made some bad decisions. Could be our own, could have been a salesperson who influenced us and sold us something. And usually whenever buyer's remorse comes in, we always direct the frustration towards the sales guy. We always end up saying something like, damn that sales guy, he made me buy this, he pushed me into this. And it's because we need to blame someone. And none of us, we are human beings, we are not good at blaming ourselves for bad decisions. We always look for an escape vent, which in this case is you, the salesperson. So the first reason buyer's remorse can hit is because we don't trust salespeople. The second reason is because we have made some bad buying decisions in the past. Now, the third reason it can hit, and understand this well, because this is one of the largest reasons people hesitate on the decision. You see, especially if the product is high value. When I have 5 million, 10 million, let's say you're buying a home. When I have 5 million, 10 million, 15 million as liquid cash with me, I feel powerful. I feel freedom. I can do 50,000 different things without having to wonder where the money is coming from. I may not do any of those things. But just the fact that I have the freedom to do it whenever I want without having to wonder where the money is coming from is a great and a powerful feeling. But now suddenly I'm going to put 5 million or say 6 million into a home. I'm locking down a lot of that freedom and that power in that purchase. Now suddenly I don't feel so good because I don't have the same flexibility or freedom that I had before. And no one likes to lose that sense of freedom and flexibility. That's another reason why a buyer's remorse can start to come in. You walk into a showroom, you look at that fancy car, you were all excited, you sat in the car, you took it for a test drive, you wanted it, right? But when you paid it and you drove out from there, you're on the drive back home, you're actually wondering, what was really wrong with my previous car? Maybe I could have pushed it another 6 months or 1 year. That's buyer's remorse. And one of the reasons this happens is because the salesperson doesn't focus on helping the client buy correctly, because they're only focusing on selling. So when you focus on selling, the client is left with a feeling that he has been sold, and therefore he will direct it back at you. Gone is your chances of referrals or possibilities of future business with such a client. So you are hurting your own business and future pipeline if you are not thinking in terms of selling. Now, if you're not thinking in terms of buying. Now, if you don't think in terms of buying, but you think in terms of selling, then there are two things that you will have to end up with. Not just the buyer's remorse, but also what I call the seller's regret. So what is the seller's regret? People will make the decision because you may have pushed them a little bit, you may have influenced them a little too much, and some people will just make the decision. But after they go back and they don't feel good about it and they have more time to think about it, they are going to cancel. They will come back, they will forego their deposits, or they will even question you about that, take their deposits and go back. But you've been pumping yourself over all that success over the weekend. You were so excited, and at the end after the weekend you come in and there is an email and they've said they want to cancel. That's when you are going to have the seller's regret. So what should you be focusing on to become absolutely good at selling? Stop selling. Help people buy. Shift your thinking to how can I help my client make the right buying decisions. Good luck and happy selling.